Legendary!
Welcome to another video, guys. I'm Kris05, and today I'll give you a Murloc Shaman guide, aka Murloc Shaman. I really enjoy playing this deck, and it has quite a lot of possibilities. As some of you know, I used Murloc Shaman for Easy Legend this month, and I have to say it was quite a breeze. I will try to explain the strategy for most of the popular matchups, and I will give you a mulligan guide as well, so if you find that helpful, a like and a subscribe would really be appreciated. The guide part will be about 6 minutes, and the rest of the video will be gameplay from my stream, so you can get a better feel of the deck. Now, let's get into it. Murloc Shaman has been a thing ever since day 1 of the new expansion, and it has always been a tier 1 or tier 2 deck at worst. Right now, it's on the lower side of tier 1 decks, which is more than enough to climb you some easy ranks, if you know what you're doing. Let's do a quick overview of the cards that might look weird to you. We have 2 Earth Shocks for those pesky mechs. It's a nice cheap spell that can also be used as a ping, if you don't expect to see anything worth the silence, so I feel it's worth having 2 of those in the deck. Moving down to the Henge Clan Hogsteed. Having this guy in your deck will help you take control of the board more easily, and also stick a Murloc on it after you have traded. Murloc Shaman is all about winning the board, so this guy can help you out with that. And moving down to the late game value package, we have the 2 Hagathas and Shudderwalk. This is basically your return to the game mechanism. If your Murlocs didn't manage to win you the game yet, 9 times out of 10 you will need some extra value push, and these 3 can help you out a ton. Swamp Queen Hagatha can be quite nutty sometimes, but there will be times where she will just give you complete garbage. You have to be careful what you pick with her, since she will cast the spells in the order you pick them. Also, if you pick the Hagatha scheme, keep in mind that that won't scale with the number of turns you hold it in your hand, so it's basically a deal 1 to all. If you pick spells with overload, they will overload you, and also if you have spell power, that will count towards the spells. Most of the time you should be looking for board refills from your Swamp Queen, and Reign of Toads and Pharaoh Spirit are great for that. The Stormbringer is also pretty amazing, and if you get them in that order, things get pretty crazy pretty fast. Overall, Swamp Queen is quite similar to Hunter's Tracking. You need to know what you're looking for, so you can make good decisions with her. Hagatha the Witch is also pretty good in the deck, and it can give you the steam you need versus Warrior, or other matchups that are moving towards the late game. The board clear is also neat. Just be careful not to overdraw, especially when combining her with Underbelly Angler. And for the Shudderwalk, a lot of people don't get why he's in the deck, but again he can do quite the wonders. You have several Battlecry minions in your deck that can fill your board in hand, not to mention the Battlecry from Swamp Queen Hagatha and her Horror. You will auto-cast the spells again, and you will get a fresh new Horror with randomly generated spells too. Just be careful playing Shudderwalk after you played Hagatha, cause she will probably burn most of your board with the free damage AoE, depending on the order the Battlecry is cast. Now let's see the situation with the deck against every class. Let's see the win rates, mulligans with and without the coin, and your overall strategy. As a rule of thumb, you always want your Murloc Tide Colors and your Underbelly Anglers. Those 2 are amazing, and if your opponent can't deal with them, things go out of hand pretty quickly. Overall, you will always have better odds of winning if you're going first, since you want to take the initiative. Against Token Druid, you will be slightly unfavored. If you're starting first though, your chances go up quite a lot, since you both want to stick on the board, and the one with the initiative usually does that better. If you're going first, you need to curve out nicely and take control of the board. If your Angler sticks on turn 2, you will probably win as long as they don't raff it. Try playing a round swipe as well. 1 second, just hard mulligan for that Angler, and if he doesn't play an Acorn Bearer on 1, you can coin it out and hope he doesn't have the raff. With Hunter, you should have no problems most of the time. Versus Mech, you just fight for the board. Coining out an Angler on turn 1 versus an empty board is always safe against a Hunter, since they have no way of killing it with 2 mana. Careful not to get too much damage on your face, since you can't really heal up. You just need to curve out, and you should be good against most Hunters. Versus Mage, you need to finish the game before it moves to the late mid-game, because you can't really compete with their value. Usually you should have no problems doing that if you get some early Murlocs, and the Mage doesn't high roll all of its freezes. If you're going second, only keep the Slurper for an Angler cycle, since you won't benefit much from playing it on turn 1. Pointing out Underbelly is safe since most mages don't run Frostbolts. For Paladins, curving out should do it for you. Your Angler should be safe before turn 4, unless they get a Rush Mech combo, but that is rare. Playing around Consecration is a good idea, and do your best not to leave mechs on the board. Chip damage is nice, but if you leave a mech, they can probably heal for a lot with the Binding Heal or a Ziliax, so try not to do it. I prefer to top deck the silence, so I usually mulligan those away. Not much I can say about the priest matchup. You should be very good against most of them, but since there isn't really a meta deck to talk about, you will have to trust your gut with what would work for you. Generally, they have a lot of ways to deal with your board, so some steam through Tasty Fin might be worth it, but only if you have some early game to go with it. Rogues are quite the weird matchup as well. Here, you won't be able to stick on the board early on since they have so many tools to remove your stuff. You can still try coining out an angler on one, but somehow they always have the goddamn backstab. Playing for the mid game might prove more beneficial for you, and HS Replay actually says Swamp Queen Hagata is the best card to keep against Rogue if you're going first, and not that bad when you're going second too, so keep that in mind. Versus Shamans, it's very important to win the board in the mirror matchup. It's quite tricky against the Overload Shamans, but it's not that hard to win those too. If they get the Thunderhead with a bunch of overloads, it gets pretty rough, but other than that, you should be able to stick on the board and seal the deal. Zulok should be one of your hardest matchups, but if you're going first, you should be good. Having silence for the carpet would be great, but I wouldn't mulligan for it. Just try to build your board and make it sticky for his small dudes. The Toxfins can save you from the carpets and the giants, so it might be worth to hold on to one. And for the warrior matchup, you need to decide if you're going all in for the early game or you will drag it out to the late with your late game package. Usually I manage to finish them off nice and early, but if it comes down to the late game, try to play Swamp Queen Hagata before the Shutterwalk for that extra value. I think that's about it for the guide part. I hope this gives you some clarity on what you should be doing against each matchup. Now let's see 3 games from my stream so you can see the deck in action. Okay, I want the Angler. Am I going to hard mulligan for it? I mean, if it's a bomb warrior, we would want to have some early games, so I think I'm gonna keep it. So yeah, dumping everything else but the Sludge Surfer, because it gives value, you know. And if we get the Angler, we're gonna coin it out and play this on turn 2, but we didn't get it so far. Sucks. Yeah, dude, 6th of August. They said that as soon as they announced it, so everybody knows that. Or should know that. That's cute, especially with the combination with Soul the Murlocs. Definitely a nice card to have. I don't know, I'm bad. I'm gonna play it. Good enough. Might even... What might I even? Tide Hunter with Soul the Murlocs is not gonna do that much for us if he has Whirlwind, but... I think it's not a bad gamble. Although it's not like we can clear. We need to be able to Bloodlust after that, so maybe playing these wouldn't be too bad. Dynamatic is gonna suck. Okay, that's fine. He even ignored the Murlocs. Okay then. Let's do this. If he doesn't do anything here, he's a dead man. Almost. Light the fuses! That doesn't do much for you. Oh, I like that. I like that a lot better. just in case he has a Zilliax. I should have played differently, but I don't think it matters. I should have traded first and then give solo the Murlocs. Worked out better than expected though. Easy. Well, we managed to kill this guy without the underbelly. Didn't have much early game, so we punished him hard. Well, this is a pretty good keep against Paladin. But I really rather top deck it. Murloc Hunter is also pretty good, but again... Again, it's something I prefer to top deck. I'm really just hard mulliganing for underbelly, especially going second. There's the underbelly, that's the dream. That is the dream. If he passes on turn 1, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Kept 3 cards. Shit. Well, that's not great because he could technically galvanize her and make our lives a living hell. But we gotta take that risk. And some don't even run that many rushes anymore, so chances are he's not gonna be able to rush us. He got the dream. Okay, he didn't. We got the dream. Playing the poison on the 2-3 because if he rushes something, I would very much appreciate if it dies. Spend it all on Pax Hounds? Well, I hope you're not gonna rage quit after that, because usually that's what happens. Did you at least get something good, dude? Hope you did. Again, same reasoning. Again, we're gonna have 3 mana next turn. He still has 3 cards that were... Oh, that was perfect. He has 3 cards that were reduced by the Galvanizer, still. Could have been reduced, I mean, we don't know. Might not be minions. Okay. Playing right into Consecration. I think it's time to say goodbye to our angler friend. Would have been nice if it discovered itself, but it didn't. Okay, greedy. Very greedy. Nice to get the World Eaters soon. If he doesn't have a true silver, he won't be able to kill the Scargill. He probably wants to play those buffed up minions. Not really sure, Kazul. Not really sure. Okay, okay, not great. We need to find something. We're out of poisons. God damn it. Okay. Finally. Okay, figured it out. Scargill definitely MVP in this situation. Managed to fish the buffs. God damn it.
Converting stored energy.
Yeah, now you come. It's gonna be 6, one this 8. It's not enough. So I think I'm going all in. Because you can't poison it. Just going face currently. Probably gonna heal up or something, Ziliax or the twin spell. God damn it.
Fleshlings are so fragile.
Converting stored energy.
Wow. Try changing it now. What a miss. So. I think I should have just Hagata there, but can't really lose here, can we? The only way we lose is if he finds... God damn it, why didn't I do that? Misplays, so many misplays. Kangor's army is gonna wreck me big time. Okay. GG. Kangor is the only thing that fucks me. And it wouldn't fuck me that hard, I mean. Killed a lot of mechs, so... now. God damn. Still kicking. But not enough.
Reporting for duty.
is now dead. He proceeds to dying. What is up, frickin'? Okay. Turn 1 pretty important. These two are definitely not something I wanted to see here, but okay. At least he's overloaded now. Yeah, pretty garbage. Keep on pushing, Kazul. You got this, boy. Let's take it nice and slow. We got our late game plans, so we don't need to do anything too crazy early on, I think. And I would like to at least get some cycle going with the angler. He overloaded himself. Well, I guess I'm gonna go with the tasty thing here. Playing on curve and whatnot. Play a rock biter here. Silence, stuff like that. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Jin. No new followers yet, by the way. Let's hope that changes soon. Well, this guy's a bastard. He's overloaded again. We know he has Rock Biter. Scargill ain't bad. This guy drew his entire deck. Drew 7 cards more than us. Really hope we get a Murloc, a tasty fin. It's not a Murloc even, but... yeah, let's go like this.
You can be whatever you want.
That bounce is nice. It's probably gonna Thunderhead though. A noble attempt. Okay, overloaded for 2 next turn. Still gonna have 5 mana. Swap Queen Hag at the time. I really hope I don't get overloaded. It's not like we're gonna have anything to soul the Murloc with, but... I'd rather be able to play... Okay, okay. This is definitely what we needed. Would have been amazing the other way around, but beggars can't be choosers. 20-30k? Like, for real, Kazul? What the fuck? What are you smoking? Okay, that's not in the face. Usually you want to go in the face, dude. You always fought? Like, for real? The views, those are 20-30k, but followers, not so much. Pretty good. Yeah, kinda. Jokes aside, actually, it's been fucking a long time since somebody actually donated. Like, bits seem to be the hype nowadays. Not that I'm complaining, it's just an observation of mine, I guess. Okay. Well, let's go all in. Or should I go with the battle cry? No, I'm going all in. I don't think we're even gonna play the sugar walk. Look at him, just going face with Kris. GG, dude. You butchered this game. You should have gone face more, maybe. Well, who knew the Swamp Queen Hagatha was a blessing in disguise. Hater Kopne, welcome. Oh, Tio in the stream. Hello, my dude. Long time no see. At least in the long time no write. More like it. How are you doing? Check my Facebook. Okay. Click. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope this guide helps you better understand how to play with and against Murloc Shaman. Thanks for watching. I'm Kris05, and I'll see you in my next video.